For decades, China has evolved from its early stages of development into a global frontrunner in missile defense technology. But today, things are changing at a pace that almost defies belief. On a quiet night over the Bohai Sea, a radar suddenly lights up, and from deep underground, a defensive missile roars skyward, piercing into space. It carries no warhead, only raw kinetic energy and absolute precision. When impact occurs high in the upper atmosphere, the incoming warhead disintegrates into metallic dust. This is not a scene from a science fiction movie. It is a real-world test marking the maturity of the HQ-26 interceptor system, an emblem of China's ambition to extend its defense capabilities beyond the atmosphere. Join Top 10 Discoveries Official as we uncover the story behind the HQ-26 and explore how it redefines the concept of space-based defense. Disclaimer: this video article is based entirely on open-source information and serves educational and analytical purposes only. It does not disclose classified data, nor does it promote or encourage any form of conflict. For more than 3 decades, China's missile defense system has followed a long road of evolution from early domestic platforms like the HQ-9 and HQ-19 to the HQ-26, a generation widely regarded as a technological turning point in high-altitude interception. This transformation did not happen overnight. What once relied mainly on the principles of tactical air defense has gradually evolved toward building a multi-layered protective network, one capable of defending not only the mainland but also extending into near-orbital space. In the early years of the 21st century, the world knew China primarily through the HQ-9 program, comparable to Russia's S-300, designed to destroy targets within the atmosphere. Later came the HQ-19, an expanded variant with the ability to counter short-range ballistic missiles. But the HQ-26 was conceived on a completely different trajectory. It aims to intercept missiles in their mid-course phase outside the atmosphere, at extremely high altitudes according to open-source reports where warheads travel hundreds of miles above Earth at speeds dozens of times faster than sound. It is a realm once dominated only by leading powers such as America and Russia. The HQ-26 first drew public attention in the mid-2010s when open-source images revealed a high-altitude defensive missile undergoing tests in northern China. Technical assessments compared its operational philosophy to America's SM-3 interceptor, the ship-launched missile system deployed on Aegis-class destroyers, famous for striking ballistic targets beyond the atmosphere. While specific details remain undisclosed, the development direction suggests that China's ambition goes far beyond replicating Western technology. It seeks to integrate these advancements into its own defense architecture, combining land-based and naval interception systems into one cohesive network. What makes this evolution truly remarkable is the shift in strategic mindset. Earlier systems such as the HQ-9 were designed mainly for point defense, protecting specific cities or bases. The HQ-26, however, moves toward regional defense, capable of shielding vast coastal zones and maritime deployment areas. It is also believed to operate within low Earth orbit, extending its detection and interception range to several hundred miles beyond the upper atmosphere. The HQ-26 is expected to be deployed aboard the Type 055 destroyer, one of the largest and most advanced warships in the Chinese Navy. With a displacement of more than 12,000 tons, the Type 055 offers sufficient power, radar capacity, and onboard systems to support high-altitude missile defense. This integration effectively bridges land and sea defenses, creating a new approach. Instead of passively awaiting an attack, China could establish a mobile shield across its key maritime zones. The emergence of the HQ-26 is therefore more than a technological milestone. It represents a profound shift in strategic thinking from imitation to independent innovation, from local protection to regional coverage, and from traditional air defense to near-space defense, a frontier once thought reachable only by a few of the world's most advanced nations. HQ-26 is widely seen as a signature product that fuses precision mechanical engineering, advanced sensors, and trajectory control algorithms, the 3 pillars that define every modern interception system. Unlike missiles that carry explosive warheads, HQ-26 operates on a hit-to-kill principle, meaning it destroys the target purely through kinetic energy. When 2 objects collide head-on at an estimated speed of 18,000 miles an hour, the energy released is sufficient to obliterate the adversary's warhead in space without any explosive charge. This technology demands absolute accuracy, because an error of only a few inches can cause the interception to fail. The HQ-26 architecture is built in 2 stages. The first stage, the booster is responsible for propelling the missile off the ground and reaching supersonic speed within the first few dozen seconds, after gaining the desired altitude. The second stage, the kinetic kill vehicle, or KKV, separates and continues on an independently controlled flight. This component is small and lightweight, fitted with a cluster of micro-thrusters, tiny reaction engines used to fine-tune attitude and trajectory in an environment that is almost a vacuum. Stage separation and trajectory corrections occur within a time frame measured in milliseconds, allowing the KKV to iteratively refine its flight path until it achieves a precise intercept. On the sensing side, HQ-26 uses a combination of high-resolution X-band radar, an inertial navigation system, and an active infrared seeker to track targets amid the complex thermal and reflective conditions of the exo-atmospheric layer. The X-band radar provides detection and target locking at ranges of hundreds of miles, while the infrared seeker helps identify the characteristic heat signature of a warhead traveling through the mid-course phase. Sensor data are continuously processed by a high-speed navigation computer that performs thousands of calculations every second to adjust flight angles and velocities. HQ-26 employs optimal guidance algorithms, variants of lead pursuit and proportional navigation that estimate the best intercept point instead of simply chasing the target. This reduces the energy expenditure and raises the probability of a hit. The use of micro-thrusters is regarded as a breakthrough in China's space control technology. To maintain orbital stability in microgravity and thin air, these thrusters must produce extremely small but precisely controlled forces down to the level of individual newtons. According to open sources, that level of precision demonstrates HQ-26's advanced integration of mechanics, electronics, and applied mathematics, creating a weapon system whose sophistication approaches the world's most advanced missile defense platforms. If the HQ-26 missile is considered the sword of China's defense system, then its sensor and data control network is the brain that allows it to act with millisecond precision. At the heart of this network lies the C4ISR system, short for command, control, communications, computers, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. This framework connects every element together, from early warning radars and satellites to ground command centers and naval warships, forming a unified digital space for analysis, decision-making, and real-time response. China's early warning network is reinforced by optical and radar reconnaissance satellites known as Yaogan, designed to detect the launch trajectory of incoming missiles. These satellites operate in low Earth orbit, roughly between 300 and 500 miles above the surface, allowing rapid observation of heat signatures and motion from flying objects. The data collected from space are transmitted to long-range radar installations in Heilongjiang, Xinjiang, and the Bohai coastal region, where ground-based tracking stations monitor high-altitude flight paths. When an object is detected, data from multiple sensors are fused, processed, and synchronized almost instantly. Satellites confirm the thermal signal, radars determine velocity and trajectory angle, command stations compute the potential interception point between the defensive missile and the target. This entire sequence occurs with ultra-low latency within milliseconds. Depending on the C4ISR network's configuration, the reaction speed necessary for the HQ-26 to lock on before the target re-enters the atmosphere. A noteworthy development is the growing reliance on artificial intelligence. According to recent open-source analyses, AI is now used to distinguish decoys from real warheads based on subtle differences in radar reflection and infrared emissions. Machine learning algorithms dramatically reduce misidentification and enhance interception accuracy, giving the system a higher success rate under complex battle conditions. Compared to systems like America's Aegis ballistic missile defense, China's C4ISR network is still in the process of maturation. However, the strategic direction shows clear parallels. Both rely on multi-layered data fusion from diverse sensors, enhancing flexibility for naval and land-based forces alike. With the advancement of HQ-26, China is gradually shaping an integrated defense ecosystem, one where information itself becomes the most powerful weapon. And every bit of data processed a fraction of a second faster could mark the difference between a successful defense and total failure. For a technology to be truly acknowledged, it must demonstrate operational capability under real conditions. For HQ-26, that journey is marked by 6 mid-course intercept tests publicly disclosed by China over more than a decade: 2010, 2013, 2014, 2018, 2021, and 2022. While full technical details were not released for each event, every test represented a step forward in maturing an exo-atmospheric missile defense capability. The earliest trials took place in controlled environments, with surrogate targets launched from the mainland to simulate the flight path of a medium-range ballistic missile. By 2014, China announced success in intercepting during the mid-course phase, an achievement previously demonstrated only by powers such as America with the SM-3 family. The 2018 trial focused on improving data throughput between long-range radars and interceptors, reducing remote control latency to levels measured in a few thousandths of a second, a decisive factor in the space environment. The most notable event occurred in 2022 and was described by international media as one of China's most successful tests. In that scenario, a mock adversary warhead was launched from Shanxi province into a medium-altitude trajectory. Minutes later, an HQ-26 interceptor was launched from Xinjiang, thousands of miles to the northwest. Space and ground-based radars tracked and calculated the intercept geometry, enabling HQ-26 to lock on in exo-atmospheric conditions and destroy the target by direct impact. China's Ministry of Defense stated the test achieved the desired objectives, while outside observers saw it as the clearest evidence yet of China's ability to control exo-atmospheric engagements. Analysts at the War Zone and the Institute for National Defense and Security Research in Taiwan assess that maintaining a steady testing cadence across 12 years indicates a substantive development program rather than a one-off technical demonstration. Each trial served dual purposes: to validate capability and to collect invaluable data on missile stability, command and control latency, and sensor reliability. The most critical measures are repeatability and robustness. In missile defense, success is not defined by a single hit, but by the capacity to reproduce that hit across varied scenarios. Over 6 trials, HQ-26 has increasingly shown that theoretical exo-atmospheric interception can be turned into an operationally reliable capability, proof that this technology is moving from concept and laboratory tests into a stage of real technical maturity. When evaluating HQ-26, it cannot be separated from the global picture of modern missile defense systems. 3 names commonly raised for comparison are SM-3 Block 2A from the United States, A-135 and A-235 from Russia, and Aero-3 from Israel, each representing a distinct technical approach within the same domain. In design terms, HQ-26 and SM-3 Block 2A share many similarities. Both employ an exo-atmospheric hit-to-kill interception method and are intended to engage medium-range ballistic missiles during their mid-course phase. SM-3 has been operationally deployed on Aegis-class destroyers, while HQ-26 is reported to be undergoing integration tests on the Type 055 destroyer. Although exact specifications remain undisclosed, analysts estimate HQ-26 engagement envelope at roughly 600 to 1,800 miles, comparable to or slightly lower than SM-3 Block 2. HQ-26's strength, however, lies in its mobility and compact design, which ease integration across naval and land platforms simultaneously. Against Russia's A-135, A-235 family, HQ-26 follows a different path. Russia's A-235 line emphasizes high-altitude interception using proximity detonation warheads, whereas HQ-26 targets precise kinetic collisions, a technology that demands more advanced sensing and guidance algorithms, but yields a cleaner interception, avoiding dangerous debris in low Earth orbit. Compared with Israel's Aero-3, noted for intercepting at altitudes higher than 60 miles, HQ-26 appears to offer comparable mid-range capability, especially in rapid orbital data processing and adaptability to varied target types. That said, HQ-26 still faces limits. The system lacks publicly confirmed combat data, and there is no official, open-source figure for its probability of kill. This is understandable, since much of the program remains in testing and optimization phases. From a strategic perspective, HQ-26 is designed to meet national defense requirements and to complement an integrated defense network. Similar in role to systems like SM-3 or Aero-3, In the overall architecture, HQ-26 is described as operating in parallel with systems such as HQ-19 and HQ-29, and alongside certain directed energy technologies, for example, LY-1 and open sources, forming a layered defense grid from the ground up into low Earth orbit. This structure reflects a modern defense trend, no longer relying on a single missile type, but coordinating multiple layers of sensors, algorithms, and platforms where data and rapid reaction capability determine a nation's standing on the global missile defense map. This comparison is drawn from open source material. Actual field configurations and classified performance parameters may differ significantly from public estimates. The development of HQ-26 is more than a leap in engineering. It's a factor reshaping the architecture of global strategic deterrence. Within the doctrine of mutually assured destruction, or MAD stability, has long depended on the assumption that any nuclear strike would trigger an equally devastating retaliation. Yet once a nation gains a reliable interception capability, that balance begins to shift. By operating in the mid-course phase of a missile's flight, HQ-26 enhances protection for strategic assets and strengthens national security amid a rapidly evolving defense landscape. At the tactical level, this system directly supports coastal defense, artificial islands, and naval task forces. In a potential medium-range missile strike scenario, HQ-26 could be launched from ground bases or Type 055 destroyers to shield battle formations and maritime routes. With its high mobility and interoperability with other defense layers like HQ-19 and HQ-29, it helps build a flexible network capable of protecting critical zones under complex conditions. Its greater significance, however, lies in bringing China closer to the concept of active defense. Instead of relying solely on retaliatory deterrence, this technology enables a nation to neutralize threats preemptively before they approach its territory or key interests. Technically, such a system demands continuous tracking, automated decision-making, and multi-layer coordination, all areas in which HQ-26 is expanding the country's capability frontier. From a neutral perspective, any nation that masters high-altitude interception alters the existing strategic order. The emergence of HQ-26 mirrors how the United States once advanced with SM-3 or Israel with Aero-3, each new system adding an extra layer of security while forcing the world to recalculate the traditional equation of deterrence. As global defense technology shifts focus from power to destroy toward power to control and defend, HQ-26 stands as a defining example of this transformation. Security is no longer measured by the number of warheads, but by how fast a nation can detect, process, and stop a threat before it strikes. Still, no interceptor system can eliminate all risks of penetration. Its effectiveness ultimately depends on deployment density, sensor accuracy, and its resilience against decoys, the ongoing challenge for every missile defense power on Earth. HQ-26 is not the final destination. It is a vital link in an expanding chain of space defense systems. It stands alongside HQ-29, DN-3, SC-19, and emerging directed energy technologies such as the LY-1 laser, all converging toward a single goal: to build a multi-layered protective wall stretching from the ground to low Earth orbit. Each layer serves a distinct purpose. HQ-19 engages short-range threats. HQ-26 operates in the mid-course phase, while DN-3 and SC-19 are designed to intercept satellites or exo-atmospheric objects far beyond Earth's atmosphere. The cornerstone of this evolution lies in multi-platform data integration. In the coming decade, China's missile defense network is expected to synchronize early warning satellites, sensor-equipped UAVs, ground-based radars, and AI-driven trajectory prediction platforms. Instead of relying on manual reaction, the process will shift toward a semi-autonomous model detect, analyze, and intercept within seconds. Artificial intelligence will play a central role in optimizing intercept paths and minimizing error margins, especially in the harsh conditions of space where signals face delay and interference. According to defense industry projections, the period from 2030 to 2035 will mark the completion of the integrated air and space defense network, a unified framework combining air defense and space protection. The objective is not only to safeguard the homeland, but also to secure strategic orbital assets such as communication satellites, sensor constellations, and navigation infrastructure. By linking HQ-26 with successor systems like HQ-29 and DN3, China could form a digital shield spanning the entire near-Earth space environment. The emergence of HQ-26 therefore represents a shift in technological mindset, marking the transition from a strategy of retaliation to one of proactive defense. In this new model, deterrence no longer stems solely from the ability to launch missiles, but from the ability to control information and the space domain itself. Much like how GPS or the internet once transformed Western warfare, HQ-26 and its successors may lay the foundation for an Asian digital defense ecosystem, one where data, processing speed, and artificial intelligence define strategic strength. In the future, as these systems mature, the concept of a defensive missile will evolve beyond weaponry. It will become part of the space technology infrastructure itself, where the boundary between defense and aerospace innovation nearly disappears, merging into a single frontier of intelligent, orbital security. From HQ-9 to HQ-26, more than 2 decades of development reveal a striking transformation from learning imported technology to independently designing, testing, and controlling interception systems operating beyond the atmosphere. HQ-26 is not merely a military platform. It stands as living proof of the convergence between aerospace engineering, data technology, and artificial intelligence, the very field shaping the future of global security. In this broader picture, missile defense is no longer defined by destructive power, but by computational speed, trajectory precision, and technological autonomy. As nations move deeper into the digital era, shields like HQ-26 could represent a new generation of defense systems where strength is measured by data accuracy, not just by the size of one's arsenal. With these advances, a question emerges. In the future, could space defense technology redefine how humanity understands security and global strategy? Share them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe to stay updated on the latest insights into technology, national strategies, and innovations shaping the future. Top 10 Discoveries Official will be back with untold stories, projects that push boundaries, and quiet revolutions with global impact. See you in the next video.